All right, so a few months ago, I think I started it at like the end of March or the beginning of April. I embarked on a retrospective review, however you want to say it, on Dragon Ball Super, because I just recently finished watching the anime in March, and I decided I wanted to start talking about it because of how many mixed feelings I had about the anime. So far I've covered the Battle of Gods arc, Resurrection F arc, Universe 6 Tournament arc, Goku Black arc, and the beginning of the Universe Survival arc leading up to the Tournament of Power, which leaves us today with, you guessed it, the Tournament of Power itself. Now, to recap, the Tournament of Power is a free-for-all battle royale tournament between 8 universes. I think it's universes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11. 12, 8, 1, and 2 don't have to participate, I think, because their universes are too strong. They're not going to get wiped out. The reason that the tournament is happening in the first place is because the universes that I stated, if I'm correct about those numbers, have nothing to offer to the multiverse. So the Zenos are planning on wiping them out. But because Goku asked Zeno to have another tournament amongst like strong people from the other universes, Zeno decided to have the Tournament of Power to decide which universes get to stick around. The rule is each universe has 10 champions. If all 10 champions are eliminated from the tournament by falling out of bounds, that tournament or that universe will be wiped away. As far as the combat rules of the tournament go, you are not allowed to kill your opponent, otherwise you will be disqualified, and anybody who uses flight as a superpower is not allowed to fly. I'll come back to that. So, like, if you have wings, you can fly there, but Goku can't fly with his energy manipulation. We'll get to that. So, because all of the universes were in danger of being eliminated before this tournament, people seem to think that Goku actually did the multiverse a favor by wanting to have this tournament. That's not the case. We'll get to it later. Now, at the start of the tournament, Gohan is supposed to be like the captain of Universe 7's team. He's the one that's coming up with the plan. He's like, okay, we're all going to stick together here in the middle of the arena. That way we cannot be wrung out unless they bring us all out together. Goku, Frieza, Vegeta, 17 and 18 don't like that plan, so they just go off on their own. And it's funny because they all make it actually really far into the tournament. But I want to talk about how the tournament itself is set up. There's some familiar faces like Kaba and Hit and Botamo and Magetta and Frost even. Frost is not doing his poison stuff like he was in the Universe 6 tournament. But seeing Hit again was cool, but the thing is, like, you're seeing Hit and Kaba and all these characters, and it's like, I like Hit and Kaba, I think they're fine. But you know they're going to die, right? You know there's no way Universe 6 is going to win this tournament. No matter what happens, you know Universe 7 is going to win the tournament, not only because Universe 7 has Goku in it, and you can't wipe out the universe that has Goku, but this takes place before Z ends. So no matter what happens, there are no stakes because you know no one here is going to die. Not permanently, at least, because they are all still alive by the end of Z. Not necessarily Frieza. See, the thing about Frieza is I'm kind of tired of seeing him around. Like, he isn't adding anything to the story. He fit well into the Super Broly movie because the movie was built around him. But because there's technically nothing saying that he isn't alive at the end of Z, they can get away with this. But it's just... By the way, for those of you who don't understand, I don't mean the end of Z as in when they defeated Boo. I mean the end of Z as in the World Martial Arts Tournament where Goku shows up again after having been missing for a few years. Everybody's older. Vegeta's got another jacket. Goten has a mullet, and he shows up and he meets Majub. That's the end of Z I'm talking about. So because they never mention Frieza here, they can get away with Frieza being alive. I don't know if he is still going to be alive by the time that happens, but there's no reason for him to exist one way or the other. So I'm kind of annoyed about that. But when you're watching the tournament, there's a very clear disconnect, right? Because anytime you see, first of all, the tournament only lasts for 48 minutes. So these next close to 50 episodes take place within 46 minutes. 48, 46, I don't remember which number I just had. I think it is 48 minutes. So it's just already like, well, that's kind of unbelievable. So it basically works out to like each episode represents 1 minute of the tournament. Now, what I don't enjoy about watching this tournament, I'm sorry, I had a burp, is every character is shooting like yellow ki blasts. So anytime you see a character dodging yellow ki blasts, it is pretty much reused animation. There is a lot of reused animation in the early stages of the tournament. I get that because they're building up to, you know, the thing that happens towards the end of the tournament. But it does still come across as lazy. Also, there's a lot of poorly animated segments of the tournament in general. Totally Not Marcus talked about that. I might link his video where he and his friends redraw some of the art from Dragon Ball Super. Now, the arena. You see the arena, it's not that big. I would say it's about the size of like a football stadium, not a football field, but like a pretty big football stadium, like Arrowhead Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Superdome, something like that. So why is it that whenever characters are fighting, like say you have Goku versus Bergamo, right, over here in this part of the tournament, of the arena, you can't see anything else that's happening anywhere else in the arena. There's like explosions and stuff going on in the background, but there's no characters fighting other characters in the background of any of these fights that you're watching. It makes it feel less like all of these events are taking place at the same time on an open arena, and more like it's in sectioned bits that happen in a very particular order. Like I said, the arena isn't big. You would be able to see most of the characters at any given moment. Also, the arena is very destructible, which is funny because the Grand Priest wanted to make sure that it was as indestructible as possible. So the fact that even Ten Shinhan is strong enough to damage the tournament, like the arena, that's funny to me. It's made of like, it was basically super catch and tight. And if you remember what catch and tight is, it is the hardest material in Universe 7. It is the type of rock that they wanted to test the durability of the Z-Sword against in the Buu Saga, and it broke the Z-Sword. So this is a souped up version of that, and it is completely destructible to even a regular old Destructo disc. I know that's not a big deal, but it's just annoying to me when I'm watching that, because it's like the information I was given earlier and what I'm seeing now don't add up. And when I say there's a disconnect between like what you're watching and the fact that you can't see any other characters in the background, it becomes a major issue when there's less competitors. Like, after Goku uses his Ultra Instinct for the first time, he ends up like in a dip in the arena floor, and Frieza comes and gives him some energy to help him recover faster. Nobody, not one single person in the tournament decides to go over to where Goku is, because the Ultra Instinct versus Toppo/Jiren first showdown was a pretty big spectacle. I'm pretty sure everybody in the tournament watched that go down. Nobody seeks out Goku and decides, he's relatively weak, I can just ring him out right now and I don't have to worry about him. Because I'm pretty sure they all know Goku is a threat. They also all hate Goku because they see him as the reason they're in this mess in the first place. So the fact that characters weren't seeking Goku out in a very like realistic way is kind of annoying. Like, the characters just aren't doing what you would expect them to be doing. Now, I mentioned Jiren. Jiren is basically the main antagonist of this arc. He's not a bad guy, he's not a villain. He's fighting for his survival the same way everybody else is. But he is definitely the roadblock Goku was going to have to get past in order to survive. Jiren is quite possibly the least interesting character in Dragon Ball Super. His design, he's really top-heavy, and he's just a gray bug-looking creature with giant eyes. And what he wears is just a work uniform. Every Pride Trooper is just the same. In fact, the only other Pride Troopers that are interesting are Toppo and Dispo, because they have personality. I can't really remember the names of any of the other Pride Troopers. I remember Kokot. I think she can make like a force field, but they all pretty much get eliminated shortly after they're introduced. Universe 11 is supposed to be like this super elite universe. Why are there only 3 people in that universe that matter? And you could say that about Universe 7. You could say Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan are the only people in Universe 7 that really put up a fight. But I just recently tallied up all the eliminations by each universe. Master Roshi has more eliminations than Jiren by the end of the tournament. That's embarrassing. Uh, so let's talk about Jiren as far as like motivation goes, right? There gets to be a point where you find out his backstory. His village was wiped out, and so he devoted himself to getting stronger. That's it. He doesn't believe in trust or friendship or relying on others, so why did he join a team? The Pride Troopers might as well be the Justice League of Universe 7. I don't understand why he joined that team. I can't make that make sense in my mind. Unless he was just using them to get stronger, but I don't really know how that would work. When he doesn't believe on relying on others for strength. He believes that that's all internal and self-gained. So I don't get it. So Jiren, right off the bat, is not an interesting opponent for Goku at all. Also, he spends a lot of the tournament meditating, but while he's meditating, he's also levitating. So how is Jiren flying when nobody else is? That's ridiculous to me. It's just... Jiren is basically an archetype. He's just I'm a hard counter to your philosophies, Goku, and you'll have to defeat me by getting creative. But that's not what happens. We'll talk about that later. For now, let's just talk about the eliminations. That aspect of the tournament. There are 80 contestants in this tournament. If you don't add up all the compound eliminations by each member of Universe 7, you end up with 59 eliminations by Universe 7, including one member of Universe 7, which is Gohan, because Frieza eliminates Gohan and Dispo at the same time. In a very Raditz Piccolo Goku type situation. But if you subtract 59 from 80, that leaves you with 21. And if you remove the 8 members of Universe 7 who were eliminated not by other members of Universe 7, which is Vegeta, Goku, Frieza, 18, Roshi, Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien, you end up with 13, right? And if you remove, well, I guess you don't really have to go any further than that, because Jiren eliminates Vegeta and Hit, I think, and that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. I might be wrong. Point is, that ends up with 11 people in the tournament. Or you can't even really count Vegeta twice because blah, 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 whatever. The point is, there's only 13 people in the Tournament of Power that are not eliminated by Universe 7. Apart from themselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I say all that to say, this is a free-for-all between 80 contestants. 8 different universes. Why is it the Universe 7 show? I get it, right? They're the main characters, but why is Universe 7 the only universe that racks up anywhere near that many eliminations? Universe 7, which is supposed to be this giant roadblock, I think they get like 5 eliminations off. It's ridiculous. And most of the people in Universe 7 get eliminated by some no-names, like Piccolo, who honestly should have just been able to stretch his arms back up into the arena. Tien kind of eliminates himself. Roshi eliminates himself because he's just got nothing left to give. But Tien uses an after-image technique to keep his opponent like pinned while they're falling out of the ring. So why didn't he just do that in general and just leave his real body up in the arena? That doesn't make any sense. 18 sacrifices herself to keep 17 in the battle, which is actually a moment that I really enjoyed. I like that a lot. You get the sense that 18 and 17 do care about each other, even though they have a weird relationship. And 18 was more damaged than 17 was, and probably realized that since he is stronger, it's a better bet to keep him in the tournament than her. So I enjoyed that. Goku and Frieza eliminate themselves to eliminate Jiren. Jiren eliminates Vegeta. Frost eliminates Krillin, which nobody cares about Frost. It was satisfying to see Frieza take out Frost. But then, of course, 17 is the last one standing. Now, since I've talked about Jiren, I also want to talk about Kale and Caulifla. I don't like them. I like Kefla a lot, actually, apart from how strong she is for no reason. I just don't like Caulifla or Kale, because Kale's entire personality is, oh, I'm shy, but I don't like when Caulifla talks to other people and wants to train with them, and that makes me really angry, and so I turn into Broly. And Caulifla is just oh, I'm super good at everything, and I demand to learn everything I don't know immediately, even though I went Super Saiyan 1 and 2 in the same day for no real reason. I don't understand that. We don't have to talk too much about the tingly back feeling because that's really stupid. She mentions it to Caulifla mentions it to Goku. He's like, well, I guess it's kind of like that. I don't feel like doing a Goku impression right now. A lot of you guys probably know that I can do it, but it's not important at this very moment. So there's that. And then earlier in the tournament, Kale is mad because Goku and Caulifla are talking, and she rages out. She goes berserker Super Saiyan. And alright, something came up and I had to pause the recording for a second there, but I'm back. And as I was saying, she goes into the berserker rage Super Saiyan form, right? Like I think it's Super Saiyan B type. And Jiren comes very close to eliminating her. He's like, it's over. And he blasts her away, blah, blah, blah. She recovers from all that. But before that, Goku uses what seems to be full power Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha. Now, up to this point in the tournament, he has been conserving his energy because he knows this is a war of attrition and he's going to have to last quite some time. So if he's going Super Saiyan Blue, there's only so much power suppression you can say is going on here, because as we know from the Universe 6 tournament, turning Super Saiyan Blue takes a lot of energy, and maintaining Super Saiyan Blue takes a lot of energy. I know that this is Perfected Blue now, because it's like an anime-only thing or whatever, it doesn't matter. This is Perfected Blue, but it is still very costly when it comes to energy. So he had to be trying at least a pretty good amount for this Kamehameha. And Kale ate it like it was part of a complete breakfast. That doesn't make any sense to me, and it's not because Kale is a woman and Goku is a man. If Kaba had done the same thing, I would have been upset. Like I said when I was talking about the Universe 6 tournament, it's asinine to me to say that base Vegeta and base Kaba are equal. Because why would they be? Maybe base Vegeta from the Saiyan saga, but not post-Boo, post-Goku Black arc. Not Goku Black at that point, post-Resurrection Frieza. That base Vegeta could not possibly be as weak as base Kaba. And here, this is effectively Super Saiyan 1 for Kale. Why is it stronger than what is effectively Super Saiyan 5 for Goku? That doesn't... Sorry, stronger, significantly stronger than, it seems. And then, to even have the audacity... Because Super Saiyan B-type is stronger than a regular Super Saiyan 4. But based on scaling from the legendary Super Saiyan movie, it is sub Super Saiyan 2 level because Broly is defeated before Cell is. So then, why would Goku not use Super Saiyan Blue against Caulifla? Why is he using Super Saiyan God and she's keeping up? And he does really well in that fight. And then Caulifla and Kale fuse into Kefla, which feels against the rules, because I didn't mention earlier, but weapons are prohibited. Like, any external tool that you would use for combat is prohibited in this tournament. But Master Roshi gets away with using the Mafuba, so I guess we just have to deal with it. They ask Zeno, how do you feel about this fusion? And they don't seem to care. Now, if it had been the Metamorph Fusion Dance, I wouldn't raise a stink. But that feels like a Universe 7 exclusive ability because Goku is the only character who knows it by the time the Buu Saga comes around. Whew. Potara Earring Fusion is an insane multiplier. It is power level A times power level B. That's why I feel like Goku Black Saga Vegito is stronger than Gogeta in the Broly movie because of just the sheer multiplying of their power levels. Because as we all know, not all, but as a lot of people know, and I'll cover this more thoroughly in a different video, the Metamorph Fusion Dance is not that same power multiplier. It's closer to A plus B times 20, something like that. But yeah, so you have that, and that's pretty ridiculous. But then Goku awakens Ultra Instinct for the second time. And I didn't talk too much about the first time that he uses Ultra Instinct because it's weird, right? Because you have the whole Spirit Bomb thing that he uses Super Saiyan Blue times 20. We'll cover Jiren again I just want to focus on Caulifla. He does not overpower Caulifla. He outmaneuvers her. Because she is not conserving her energy while she's rapidly speeding up her own defusion. And she's like, I'm going to put everything I have left into this attack. And Goku, while he's in his Ultra Instinct Sign state, dodges the move completely and rings her out with a super cool, really sick Kamehameha grind attack. I actually really do like the way that he rung her out. But I honestly think, because I meant to talk about this earlier, it's been so long since I was actually recording the first part of this video. The idea that Caulifla is comparable in power is ridiculous because she's a reckless fighter. Caulifla and Kale. Caulifla is definitely the dominant personality in Caulifla, and Caulifla burnt all her energy out. That's why she defused when she got eliminated. Getting eliminated isn't going to defuse her. Using up all her energy will, and that's what happened. I don't think Caulifla is smart enough to have the discipline to train in such a way that she would catch up. Like, she's not smart enough to be disciplined enough to train herself enough to be as strong as Goku, even relatively. That, to me, doesn't make any sense. I don't buy that, even for a second. But that's kind of all I really want to say about Caulifla and Kale. I just don't find them interesting, and Kale's existence as a Super Saiyan B type kind of just goes to serve that Jiren isn't very interesting, because he was able to ring out Hit later on in the tournament by out-muscling his time skip ability and then just spinning him out of the arena. But he was not able to ring out Kale, who was absolutely, utterly mindless by this point in the tournament. So that's that about those two. Now I want to talk about Jiren. When Goku is first fighting Jiren, it takes until Super Saiyan God to get Jiren to actually budge, because up to this point, Jiren's been so strong that he's been able to just tank Goku's attacks. So you start with base form Goku. Super Saiyan 1 is a 50 times multiplier. Super Saiyan 2 is 2 times that, which is 100 times stronger than base form Goku. He doesn't use Super Saiyan 3, I don't think. But he does show that to Caulifla. Point is, though, he goes Super Saiyan God, which is thousands of times stronger than base Goku. That's important for later on. This is what actually makes Jiren start blocking. And then he stacks Super Saiyan Blue on top of that, which is a 5 times multiplier from that. And you would think that if Super Saiyan God made Jiren have to block or dodge or however that part of the fight actually went, Super Saiyan Blue would be enough to press him. It wasn't. But then you would think that Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 would be strong enough to press him. It was not. I don't understand what the point is of having Super Saiyan God be the first form that makes Jiren start to take things moderately more seriously than he was, when Goku will make himself 50 times stronger than that, and it won't have any effect on Jiren whatsoever. It just feels like a wasted demonstration, I guess. I don't know. But then you have the Spirit Bomb. The Spirit Bomb, the Universe 10 Spirit Bomb, which androids 17 and 18 give their energy to, but they don't have that kind of energy. And you know they don't have that kind of energy because they are unsensible. And I'm like, well then what's going on? Why can they give their Genki to this Genki Dama when they don't have Genki? But Jiren pretty much looks at the Spirit Bomb and is able to deflect it for a while. And then Goku uses Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Then Jiren actually does have to block it with his hands. Goku loses the struggle, falls into it, nearly dies. Awakens Ultra Instinct Sign. Now, I have always and will continue to always see Ultra Instinct as an ascended state where he is uninhibited. I don't think Ultra Instinct is actually a multiplier. I don't think it's a power up. I think it is his full potential of power, even considering the transformations, completely unleashed. Think of it as Gohan's potential being unleashed in the Buu Saga. This is a very similar thing. He stops consciously thinking about what he's going to do and lets his body go on autopilot and fight for him. But in Ultra Instinct Sign, he is still consciously trying to make decisions while in this state, and that is what's keeping him in the sign state and not the mastered state or completed state, or whatever you want to call that. I don't call it mastered because he still hasn't mastered that. It's been an entire arc since then. He still can't do it on command. It is not mastered. This form is somewhat able to press Jiren, but mostly because he's using the power that was in the Spirit Bomb as a battery for himself, basically. What really happened is he fell into the Spirit Bomb and it started tearing his body apart, and he's like, I cannot die. There is too much at stake. I will fight this. And so he absorbs the power from the Spirit Bomb. That power does not push him into Ultra Instinct Sign, but it does give him energy to run on while he's in that state. I really hope I've made that clear. But it burns out, and it does not actually do anything to Jiren. Now, later on in the tournament, Goku has recovered from using Ultra Instinct Sign twice. Ultra Instinct is a very taxing technique. It drains his body's energy very quickly, and considering that you could think of that as battle damage, he has healed from this twice, giving him 2 massive, and I do mean massive, Zenkai boosts. He gets so strong over the course of the tournament that Super Saiyan Blue normally is able to press Jiren. Not to mention Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 plus Super Saiyan, what I like to call Royal Blue, that Vegeta unlocks, and then they both start fighting Jiren together. How exactly does Vegeta open up Jiren and start damaging him just because he's reading his patterns? I don't know. There should still be a power gap between Vegeta and Jiren, since there's a power gap between Vegeta and Goku. Moderately. It's a weird it's a complicated situation. It's hard to talk about. I will say though that I do like the idea of Vegeta achieving a whole new level of power without relying on trying to get Ultra Instinct, because he tried to get Ultra Instinct earlier and was just getting kind of beaten down by Jiren. But at this point in the fight, you have to wonder, for Caulifla, Fusion was pretty effective against Goku for a while. So why don't Goku and Vegeta do it? I'm not asking for Gogeta. I legitimately don't think that would have been an optimal route. But, well, the reason that I don't think Gogeta would have worked is because Vegeta is quite prideful, as a lot of you guys know, and he does not like doing the fusion dance. If you've seen the Broly movie, or if you've seen Fusion Reborn, or if you've watched GT, then you know he hates the fusion dance. So he would probably screw it up, and they would be stuck as Viku for the rest of the tournament. Because remember, the tournament's very short. If they had fused at the very first moment of the tournament and screwed it up, they would only get one more chance before it was over. So, why not use a fusion method that doesn't run that risk? Like, oh, I don't know, Potara earrings. Hey, Shin, can we use your earrings for a bit? Fuse into Vegito and win the tournament immediately. But, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that would have been a pretty cool way to end the tournament. I mean, Fusion in the final arc of the tournament in both Dragon Ball Z and Super would be kind of, especially if it's Fusion into the exact same character. I don't care, though. It would have been, like, this isn't even just my love for Vegito hijacking my brain and telling me that this would have been a good route. It would have been a good route. Universe 7 would have had less eliminations, and what doesn't matter. I guess it takes away from the drama. But eventually, Vegeta ends up defeating Toppo, who becomes a god of destruction in the middle of the tournament, which is funny because it seems like gods of destruction are not allowed to participate in the tournament, or else they all would have. Why would Beerus trust his universe's welfare in the hands of Ten Shinhan rather than himself? You know what I mean? If he could have been in the tournament, he would have been. That's how I generally feel about that. But Toppo becomes a god of destruction and is not disqualified. Strange, right? Vegeta defeats him. So he's at least on the level of a god of destruction. Maybe not Beerus, maybe not Champa, but he's up there, right? But then Goku goes beyond. And there's a part in the tournament where he nearly rings nearly rings Jiren out by using a bunch of Destructo discs on the ground, and Jiren falls out of the arena. And then he flies back up. But Goku gets really desperate and finally awakens Mastered Ultra Instinct. He completely gives way to his body, and his hair turns white, blah blah blah. Now, I don't know if this is a sub thing or if this is a dub only thing. I watched a little bit of both throughout the tournament. But when Whis is talking about Ultra Instinct, he says that Goku is still going to get stronger over the course of the fight, because eventually he will stop caring about things like the gap between his power and Jiren's. So, to be clear, Ultra Instinct Mastered still does not make him as strong as Jiren. Whis himself, who is in Ultra Instinct constantly, is saying that eventually Goku will stop caring that he is weaker than Jiren and will only focus on the fight. And even that awareness will slip away. He will eventually become completely mindless and just fight. If he's completely mindless, how could he talk? Doesn't matter. But I think that's really important to remember, because people seem to think that Ultra Instinct is like a how you just get out of jail free. Like, no. But then he presses Jiren, because he starts out only using defense, but then he's able to mix defense with offense and attack and evade attacks at the exact same time, which is pretty cool. My thing about Ultra Instinct, right? They mention it twice, sort of, right? Because when he's fighting Beerus on King Kai's planet, way back at the beginning of the series, he gets a hit off on Beerus because Beerus is like, hey, you acted on instinct, you didn't think, and you were actually able to hit me. When Whis is training him, he's like, you think too much before you act, you need to stop doing that. There is not nearly enough build-up towards Ultra Instinct for it to feel satisfying when it shows up, at least for me. But the Ultra Instinct Omen form is pretty cool, even if it is just, it feels like a get out of jail free card because it bails him out from dying. Point is, though, he starts pressing Jiren. Jiren gets upset and activates his own instinct type of attack called Rage Instinct, which is a thing. And the fight goes on for a while. Jiren becomes mentally defeated. If you pay attention to the fight, he says, I give up. Throw me out of the ring. And it takes some coaching from his God of Destruction and from Toppo, like, hey, keep fighting. Right before... I just hope I don't have anybody be like, well, actually... Because it's very clear that he could have kept fighting, because he does. Shortly after this, Goku's body starts rejecting Ultra Instinct, and it wrecks his body. He's pretty much out of commission for a while. But then, Android 17, who we thought died, and Frieza, who we also thought died, just showed up. And it would have been cool because Frieza is already dead. So, as Goku said, if you die while you're dead, you cease to exist. I would rather Frieza cease to exist. But, they start fighting Jiren for a while. And somehow, Jiren has been reduced from literally thousands of times stronger than Goku's Super Saiyan 1 form to being maybe not even sub, but like around the same level as Android 17 and Final Form Frieza, who is fatigued greatly. They're both fatigued. Jiren is also fatigued. But he hasn't been fighting nearly as long, because when you think about it, Goku unlocks Master Ultra Instinct when there's 4 minutes left in the tournament, and it only lasts for that one episode, so I would assume it lasted about 45 seconds to 60 seconds. So Jiren has not been fighting at that level for nearly as long as 17 and Frieza have. So the idea that a little bit of fatigue could bring him down that far is absurd. Imagine if you're watching Avengers Endgame and Thanos fights Captain America while he's got Mjolnir for about as long as he fought him in the movie. And then suddenly Iron Man is just able to like slap him up super good. Not even using any super advanced suit technology. He's just punching him and Thanos is like... like he'd be like, what? Like, weren't you just mega strong? But then Frieza's like, blah, blah, blah. Goku shows up again. He's like, hey, we gotta work together. I need you guys to trust each other. And Frieza's like, I don't want to trust. And he's like, well, you gotta. And he's like, okay, well, do you remember your promise to me that you'll bring me back to life with the Dragon Balls? All right, keep that promise. And so they work together and they ring out Jiren. And Jiren's like, is this trust? And it's like, yeah, that is trust, apparently. It feels like faith, trust, and pixie dust, man. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. But then 17 is the last man standing in the arena. And so the Grand Priest is like, Android 17, what would you like to wish for? And 17 says, oh, bring back all the destroyed universes. And so, as it turns out, whoever had won the tournament, if they had not wished for the restoration of all the other universes, that universe would have been wiped out too. So, imagine if 17 and Frieza had taken Jiren out. Universe 11 gets erased. Goku is the last man standing. Goku, what do you wish for? I want you to bring Jiren back so I can fight him again. And now Universe 7 has also been erased. You know, if anybody from Universe 7 but 17 had been the last man standing, maybe Gohan, maybe Krillin. But if it had been anybody else, Universe 7 would have gotten wiped out. So no, Goku did not save the multiverse. He put it at risk, and if he had been the last one standing, would have gotten the entire thing wiped out anyway. So I'm tired of people saying Goku was the hero of that arc. Goku is not a hero at all, and Goku definitely 1,000,000% would have gotten Universe 7 eliminated as well. So, I hope you guys can stop giving Goku more credit than he deserves for that. It honestly just makes the entire tournament feel like a waste of time, because it didn't have to happen. But, after all that, everybody goes home, and then Goku and Vegeta have a sparring match, and that is Dragon Ball Super. Overall, I thought the show had a lot of interesting ideas. An evil Kaioshin, an evil Goku, which I kind of wish Goku Black had just been Goku from a different universe, whatever. Gods of Destruction, angels, an Omni King. There's so much cool stuff that is handled so poorly. I think Beerus is great. I love Beerus. But when you put the show on such a scale, it makes it unbelievable that the end of Dragon Ball Z still went the same way that it did. Like, Goku didn't use Super Saiyan Blue against Oob. You have to retcon that out. You have to at this point. Because, think about it, right? Oob is basically Kid Buu, but good. So you could say they're about equal in strength. Kid Buu was far stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku by the end of that arc. Only reason Goku won was because of a Spirit Bomb. I don't want to say that he's Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue level, but Goku would definitely break that form out, because remember, he used it against Android 17 and Master Roshi previously. So, there's no reason that he wouldn't use it against Oob. He's reckless. He's reckless like that. But that's just how I feel. And honestly, so much of the show just felt like a waste of time. It felt like padding. Dragon Ball Super could have been as long as Dragon Ball GT. You know, they didn't need to recap the first two arcs at all. The first arc could have been the Universe 6 tournament, then Goku Black, then the Tournament of Power. Tournament of Power could have been a real tournament. That would have been nice. I think Dragon Ball Super could have been maybe 80 episodes at the most, but it did not need to be 131. All the filler that there was, dude, was ridiculous. But overall, that's just how I felt about Dragon Ball Super. And now that we've got the Tournament of Power out of the way and we're done with the entire series, I can talk about a different show if that's what you want me to do now. I can talk about Original Z, because I've done like a recap, like a timeline of what the show actually did, but I haven't like reviewed Dragon Ball Z. Not on this level, at least. I can do Naruto, I can do Bleach, I can do many, many shows. Let me know what you want me to do in the comments, and I'll get to it. But this is Toxie Boyo, summoning Super Shenron and wishing for a yacht, and signing out.